It's 13 minutes after 1 on Radio 4. And like we promised you on Midnight Magic tonight, we have a very special guest with us who claims to be a vampire. Now, our guest is here in front of me. But before we speak to him, I would like to give you a little background on how we came to invite him to the studio. After we had broadcast for 4 weeks about ghost stories, and you've been calling up about ghost stories, about vampire stories and Pontianak stories and so on, I received this rather unusual call from this gentleman who did not identify himself. In fact, even up to this minute, I do not know what his name is, but I have spoken to this gentleman several times. And what he had rung up to say was that he'd been listening to our broadcast and listening to all the ghost stories and vampire stories, and he felt that he just had to come in to Radio 4 and tell his side of the story from the vampire's point of view, so to speak. So tonight he is in the studio with us, and we're going to introduce him, or I'm going to introduce myself to him. Good evening. I'm Patrick. What's your name?
My name is Piotr, but I think in the language, in English language, it is the equivalent of the name Peter. So if you want to call me Peter, that is fine.
Okay, I think I will call you Peter. Peter, you say to me, you've said to me on the phone that you are a real, live vampire.
Yes.
Well, you look very normal to me. You look like an ordinary human being.
Well, this is the thing. I think unfortunately what has happened in the recent past is that the vampires in the world have had very bad, particularly newspaper and film and now radio coverage. Everybody thinks that...
That's right, because everybody's idea of a vampire
is somebody wearing a big black cloak,
yes,
and looking like, what is the
Christopher
actors?
Lee.
Christopher Lee and the other one, Vincent Price. He plays these vampires. And they go around and they just kill people. And that is really not what vampires do.
Isn't it? I mean, we've come to know that vampires go around sucking blood from young girls and killing people and all that. Isn't that what you do?
Well, you see, that is a totally oversimplified explanation of what a vampire is. This is why I feel that I don't mind telling you, Mr. Patrick, that I was very upset, and a lot of my friends were very upset by some of the things that were said about vampires in the past. It's not a cut and dried situation.
You say you and your friends were upset. You mean there are more people like you here?
I didn't say that they were necessarily vampires.
Okay.
But the people who know me know what kind of a person I am, and they don't give these terrible stories.
You mean to say your friends know that you're a vampire?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
I mean, surely, if you get close to people and they find out what kind of a person you are, you have to be honest with them.
Oh, all right. Well, one thing intrigues me, though. You're a vampire, so you claim.
Well, you see, can I just... Do you mind if I interrupt at this point? You see, what you understand to be a vampire and what a vampire actually is are very different things. And that is why I wanted to come on this show, because there are a lot of misconceptions about what a vampire is. And as I say, everybody thinks he's a guy in a black cloak who goes around and just bites people on the neck and kills them. This is not what a vampire is. Vampire tradition goes back many, many years. But we are not people who just go around killing people. We just have unusual habits, unusual tastes, if you like.
Like what?
Well, you probably think that vampires just spend their entire lives drinking other people's blood. That is, of course, absolute nonsense. We don't do that. But we do like blood. We have a need for blood, but not necessarily. We don't always kill people to get this blood, but we do need blood. But then, in the same way that, for example, the Maasai tribe in Africa, they drink blood, raw blood
from cows,
from other animals. Yes, we also drink animal blood. That is something that people don't know about vampires. We drink human blood, but we don't have to kill people, and we don't.
So how do you do it then?
There are many ways. Within the vampire community, for example, we trade blood.
You what?
We trade.
You trade blood?
Yeah.
What do you mean by what do you mean trade blood?
Well, you know, if somebody is, for example, in need of some blood, we will organize it so that they will have access to some, because people don't need. One thing you must understand, Mr. Patrick, is that we are normal human beings.
No, you're not normal.
We are, well, okay, not entirely normal, but almost normal. You know, there are little things that are different about us, but there are things that are different about a lot of people. There are things that are different about you, I'm sure. But vampires, and even the term vampire, I don't like, because vampire has this, you know, everybody thinks vampire is a creature of the night. He's blood sucking. That is not what we do.
Yeah, because we've been so bombarded by these Hollywood versions of vampires. They are creatures of the night. They cannot face the sunlight, or otherwise they crumble into dust. And
you see, this is just ridiculous.
So you can go out in the sunlight and have absolutely no effect on you.
I would not say that it has no effect. I prefer the darkness hours, but I certainly can walk around in the sunlight. But I don't like it. I have bad reactions. My skin is very sensitive, but I do not crumble into stones and rock, and that is a myth.
And are you afraid of things like a crucifix, for instance?
I wouldn't say that I'm afraid of a crucifix, but I certainly wouldn't go out of my way to find one. It is that you see, I feel at the end of a long line, a long chain of vampires. Again, I'm very unhappy with the term. And I feel that there are some tendencies which, we have been passed on from generation to generation. And they are with me. And they are with me not always, I don't know why, but they are there. They are within my body, my mind. And, I have these reactions. So I will go out in the sunlight, but my body does not like it. That is obvious. I realize that, and I try to avoid the sunlight. I work much better during.
You mentioned the word generations. You say passed on from generation to generation. Now we've been brought up with this staple of Hollywood vampires, Christopher Lee and all that, and we've come to believe that there's only one vampire, Dracula, and he lives for centuries and centuries and centuries and never dies. So because of that, I mean, you could not have generations of vampires. It's just only one. He just goes on living.
Yeah, this is a typical example of one of these Hollywood myths. That's not true.
You say you come from a long line of vampires?
Absolutely.
How did
vampires do procreate? They do have little vampires. And we do. We grow up. We are normal human beings. We are perfectly normal human beings. We do not live forever. At least I hope I don't live forever. my father and mother certainly did not live forever. They are both dead. They live. We do live slightly longer than human beings, normal human beings, because I know you feel that these vampires are not normal. But we certainly do not live forever. I mean, eternity for me is a terrible thought. I mean, where's it going to end?
You're listening to Radio 4's Midnight Magic, and tonight we have an interview with a vampire. Peter is his name, and for obvious reasons, we cannot reveal his full name on this program. One thing that intrigues me, though, Peter, how did you come to Malaysia, and what are you doing here?
Well, I'm working here.
You're working here?
Yes. You see, Mr. Patrick, this is very difficult because you can see me and you know what I look like. And I look perfectly normal.
Yes, you do, yes.
Now, I think a lot of your viewers on the radio will be thinking, what is this guy looking like? I would like you to describe me. I am a normal person.
Yes, well, Peter here is about 5'8.5" in height, and he's got a beard. He's Caucasian looking, brown hair, and big nose, sharp big nose, yes. And, well, I'm not very good at describing people, but he looks every bit a very, very normal human being. But Peter says he is a vampire, and he says that he lives and works in Malaysia among normal human beings, some of whom know that he is a vampire. What do you do here?
Well, because of my rather irregular working times, I am freelance. I do really what you call public relations. I work with a lot of advertising agencies and companies to work with to promote different companies, and it's public relations is like a bit of marketing, promotion, that kind of stuff with the management skills. I do all of that.
You work with other normal people who know...
Mr. Patrick, I am a normal person.
All right, you work with other people who know that you're a vampire. And what is their reaction when they first find out, when you first tell them that you're...
Well, actually, the only people that know... Because my working life is my working life. And I do my job, and I do a very good job.
Well, I'm sure a lot of listeners out there are wondering, you say you're every bit a normal being. You don't like to be called a vampire, and you don't like to be referred to as something abnormal. But I'm sure a lot of our listeners out there would like to know what differences there are between you and me, for instance. Is it true that you don't have a reflection in a mirror?
Again, this is one of these myths that has been perpetrated by films and Hollywood. The thing with true vampires is that sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. It is very much dependent on what is happening in our lives at the moment. The thing is, you see, we are vampires living in the 20th century, and we have to work, and we have to live. We have to make a living. So we are normal. We are totally normal. If you met me in a bar, you would not think, gosh, look at that strange being. I would look like a normal human being. You have described me. I am normal. So we obviously have to try to assimilate into the culture and into the lives of the 20th century people, and that is what I am doing. So this thing about the image in the mirror, we are we have strong personalities, we have strong psychological makeups, And when we are at home and we are relaxed, we are ourselves. When we are in society and we are trying, if you like, much harder to do certain things, then we will appear probably more normal. When we are home, we let our guard down. And perhaps then we do not cast a reflection in a mirror because we're not concentrating on what we are doing.
So you see, if you concentrate, then you can cast a reflection on the mirror.
Very much so.
So you will appear completely normal to anyone looking at you.
As normal as I appear to you now.
Okay. 28 minutes past 1. You're listening to Radio 4's Midnight Magic. We're with our interview with Peter the Vampire. We'll be back after this. Or you're listening to Midnight Magic with Patrick Thiel until 3 a.m. And tonight we are interviewing Peter the Vampire. Peter, there's something I wanted to ask you for the past few minutes now. I've heard that vampires have the ability... You just said that you have the ability to cast an image on a mirror when, under normal circumstances, you would not have a reflection in the mirror because you're a vampire. But you can make yourself cast an image on a mirror. Is it true also that vampires have the ability to change their form into bats and wolves and things?
Well, to a certain extent, yes, to a certain extent we can, but then I think everybody is able to change their shape, whether it's actually physically or emotionally or mentally.
No, I mean something more basic than that. I mean, can you, if you wanted to now, for instance, could you change into a bat and fly around the room?
No, I could not. I could not. I'm not a performing animal. This is not a circus. I certainly would not be able to do that now, no.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask you to do it, but I'm saying if you really had to, could you change into a bat or a wolf or some other?
Again, this is one of the great myths that has been put forward by the films. To a certain extent, yes, I could.
What do you mean to a certain extent?
Well, this is obviously a very personal question. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult for me to answer. I don't want to. I really don't want to scare anybody about what I can or cannot do. And I'm not trying to convince anybody that I am what I'm not.
Mm. Can vampires fly? Or a lot of our listeners have called up our program in the past weeks with vampire stories. They've said that it's first-hand experience. They've seen vampires flying about on lonely roads and landing on the top of their cars and so on. Is that possible?
Well, you see, the problem here is, Mr. Patrick, that if I told you that it was possible, then I think we would have a lot of people out there who would be very unhappy. I would rather maybe not answer that question directly because I don't want to again play upon these myths that have been put forward over the last few years. It is not something that I do on a regular basis. Let's just say that.
So far, Peter, since you've arrived, you've told us that although you're a vampire, the only thing that really sets you apart from the rest of us, if I may use that phrase, the rest of us, is that you have a need for blood. That's the only thing that...
That is correct. I'm trying to convince you that vampires are not these blood-sucking creatures of the night that are portrayed everywhere. Mm-hmm. We are not. We are normal people. We just have slightly different needs, slightly different tendencies. That is all. It is not, as I say, I look perfectly normal to you. I look perfectly normal when I do my job.
When you have this need for blood and from whatever source you're going to get the blood, do you grow fangs or what?
Well, no, of course not. That again is another myth. I do have slightly slightly well-developed canines, but I don't particularly use them for biting into the necks of human beings. We can get our blood from animals. Yes, I like blood. I like raw blood straight from an animal that has been freshly killed. But, blood is very good for you. It is full of protein and it is full of iron. And it is full of nutrients. You cannot get these nutrients from other sources. And it is very important for people like myself to get raw blood on a reasonably regular basis. We can store.
So you don't need blood all the time?
Not all the time.
And other times you eat normal food just as we do?
Oh, completely, yes. Not completely.
Okay. Do you sleep in a coffin like in the movies?
That is ridiculous. No, I do not.
Because I've read in a book about vampires that is one of the things that a vampire needs. That it not necessarily in a coffin, but it needs to lie on a bed of earth from his place of origin, like from his home.
Yes, I have the earth.
So that is true.
That is true. But the coffin thing is ridiculous. The coffin thing, I think, is just for again, it is a very powerful image for the film. It is good for a film. I do not sleep in a coffin. I sleep in a normal bed.
But with earth for a mattress?
Well, not for the mattress. I actually put it underneath the mattress. But it is important. It is another tradition, People have different traditions. You have, I'm sure, photographs from when you were a child. You keep those near at hand. It is part of your past, it's part of your history, and we have the same thing. But we are earth people, and we are air people. And in order for us to actually create this environment for us to live the way we want to live, we must have something from where we came from the earth where we came from.
So you say you have this earth from your home underneath your bed. So where did you originally come from, Peter?
Where I was born.
Yes.
I was born in Eastern Europe, in Romania.
In Romania?
In Romania.
And how long ago?
Well, again, it's a very difficult question to answer, and one I would rather perhaps leave for the time being.
All right.
Because I only say that. I'm not trying to be difficult. I just feel that you would misunderstand if I told you.
Okay. Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I don't. I don't have a girlfriend.
Are you saying just you don't, or vampires as a rule don't have girlfriends?
I certainly don't. I have never had a girlfriend. I would not. There would be very little point.
Why?
Because when vampires decide that it is time to procreate, then they choose a mate and they procreate. There is nothing that comes before that because there is no point. I could not have a normal girlfriend. It would be not possible.
That's very tragic. Why do you say that you're saying that you can't fall in love?
Yes. Yes. There is no such. I do not understand this concept.
You do not understand the concept?
I know what it is because I have watched the films on TV and read books. I am reasonably well educated, as you've probably worked out, but I do not. For me, falling in love is not possible. It's not something that I am interested in. It will not help me, and it certainly would not help the person that I fell in love with, I don't think.
Well, it's 18 minutes to 2, and you're listening to an interview with a vampire. We're talking to Peter, the vampire, on Radio 4. And right after we come back, we're going to open the phone lines and allow you to call up and talk to Peter, if you wish. The number to call is 282-5491 or 282-4746. That's 282-5491, 282-4746. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask our special guest, Peter the Vampire, you may call after the song. 13 minutes to 2 on a Thursday morning. You're listening to Midnight Magic on Radio 4 Coast to Coast. This is Patrick Tiera, and our special guest in the studio this morning is Peter the Vampire. And as we promised, we're going to open the phone lines if you want to speak to Peter, our special guest, if you have any questions to ask him about vampires. The numbers to call are 282-5491 and 282-4746. Good morning, you're on Radio 4.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
What is this about Peter the Vampire?
Have you been listening to the program?
Yeah, I've been listening for the past 15 minutes.
Well, for the past hour we've been talking to Peter, who's our special guest today, and Peter is a real-life vampire.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. He's sitting right in front of me. You can ask him whatever you like. Do you have a question?
He was reluctant to tell how old he was. Why is that?
Why was he reluctant to tell you how old he was?
Yeah, just now.
I don't know, Peter.
Well, it's one of those things that I don't want to pander to anybody's preconceived ideas about vampires. I am slightly older than I look, and I would just like to leave it at that.
And how old do you look?
Well, sitting in front of me, Peter, I think looks in his late 20s.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. And
What's your name anyway?
Corinne.
Corinne.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corinne. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Subang.
Do you believe in vampires?
No, that's why I'm calling.
I think you don't believe in vampires, Corinne, because since you have been bombarded with all this Hollywood versions of vampires, you're used to thinking that vampires always have bloodshot eyes, long fangs, and they're always dressed in this dinner jacket with a black cloak. Mm-hmm. That's your idea of a vampire. But as Peter has been trying to explain, vampires are not like that at all.
What are there?
You could have met a vampire today at work without knowing it.
I think the point here, Corinne, is there actually are quite a lot of vampires, as you would want to term them, around in the world today. Yeah, but they would not
recognize your own kind if you would meet them.
Would you recognize your own kind?
Oh yes, absolutely.
How would you recognize it?
You just know.
No, there must be certain things that you look for.
It's one of those. It's one of those things you just know. Like, I know that when I look at somebody, I will know immediately they are not a vampire. But if I look at somebody who is a vampire, even if he has just that little aspect of vampire blood that perhaps he is not even aware of, I will know.
You mean there are people walking around with vampire blood or vampire genes in them without even realizing they're vampires?
Of course.
Yeah, but they would know, right, because they have this certain craving for blood, as you said just now.
Well, it's a funny thing, but I am a vampire and I need raw blood. Yeah. But I know a lot of people who would, for example, go to a restaurant and would order a steak.
Medium rare.
Well, even rare.
Oh,
and in France, they order it practically uncooked. It is almost raw meat. And I'm sure you know of the dish in Europe called steak tartare.
Yeah.
This is raw meat. And nobody says, for example, oh, what a strange person because he wants to eat raw meat. But these are normal people, or are they? Or are they just vampires who can socially acceptable eating habits?
Is your parents vampires as well, or is it only you?
Are my parents vampires?
Yes, of course.
Your brothers and sisters?
I do not have any brothers and sisters. You will find that the vampire families as such are very small. There is only one offshoot of each vampire.
And what do you do? Your regular job? Do you hold a job?
Yes, as I said, I'm working here in Malaysia as a public relations consultant.
Oh.
Because you see, Karin, you have this image of a vampire, but we are normal people. We are just misunderstood, to be honest with you. And if you were sitting here now with me, you would see that I am just a normal person. I just have slightly different tendencies.
Could it be some psychological defect that makes you crave for blood?
I find that a very insulting comment.
No, I didn't mean it to be insulting. It's actual more than insulting.
I have no psychological disorders that I am aware of any more than any human being.
You see,
psychological disorders.
Corinne, Peter has already told you that he knows he's a vampire because his parents were vampires. He did not end up one day waking up and thinking, yeah, I'm going to be a vampire today. It's not psychological at all.
I think, Karin, you have to accept the fact that I didn't want to be a vampire, but at the same time I am not unhappy about it. It is what I am.
No.
Just, what are you? Can I ask you, what are you?
I am normal human being.
Well, what is normal? Define normal. What?
Well taken.
Sorry?
Point well taken.
Okay, thank you, Corinne.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's Corinne, who was speaking to Peter the vampire. If you'd like to call and speak to Peter, the phone numbers are 282-5491 and 282-4746. Good morning, you're on Radio 4.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Jesslyn from Penang.
Jesslyn from Penang, yes.
Could I speak to Peter?
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Jesslyn. I was really interested to hear that you're a vampire.
Well, I'm very interested to hear that you're ringing from Penang.
Yeah, I'd like to know something. How does it feel like to live in a world where people won't accept you, but you're here?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and actually I think a very sympathetic question, and I thank you for asking it, because a lot of people feel very negatively towards me, towards vampires in general. It is often very difficult, so I try as much as I can to live a normal life among normal people. I do not consider myself to be abnormal, just different.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm so excited I'm talking to a vampire.
Well, I'm very excited talking to you.
Though.
Sorry?
I'm so sorry to make you feel so different, though.
Well, I think everybody really feels that they are different in a way.
Yeah.
I am just more obviously different.
I see. You have a family?
No, I do not. No.
Oh, okay. All right, that's it.
Thank
Nice talking to you, Peter.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Goodbye.
That's right. Jesslyn from Penang, who's just spoken to our special guest, Peter the vampire. If you'd like to call with a question for Peter, it's 282-5491 or 282-4746. Good morning, you're on Radio 4.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Hello, Pepper?
Yes.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to talk to Peter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Peter,
Hello.
Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're fine, huh? Okay, good. I would just like to ask you a question.
Yes.
Now, you say you're a vampire, and then you like to be normal,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have any special talents, something special about you that makes you different from non-vampires?
Does Peter have any special talents?
Yeah.
He's a very good PR person, he tells me.
No, I mean, other than that,
Supernatural talents, you mean?
Yeah, something like that. Yes, that's right.
I'm not a party animal. What is your name?
Casey.
TC.
TC. I do not perform party tricks just to convince people.
I can hear you.
I'm sorry. I do not perform party tricks to convince people that I am a vampire or that I am different.
Yeah.
So if I have any special talents, I don't know. I'm very good at my job. I like my job very much. I enjoy my job. I'm good at it. Other special talent, I'm very good at. I play the piano.
Ah.
That's it, really.
Talent, you know?
Sorry?
Any supernatural talent?
Any supernatural talents?
Yeah?
Well, you know, what is supernatural, TC?
Like, other than normal, you know, I think like you're good in playing piano. I think that's quite common, you know. So something supernatural, maybe, like, you know, something okay, like, because it's very difficult for us to ask you too many questions, and then you are saying no, and then you cannot answer this, you cannot answer that. So maybe you tell us what is so special about you that you claim yourself to be a vampire.
Well, TC, I'm not claiming to be a vampire. I am a vampire.
Okay.
Whether you believe me or not, it really is not important. Why I'm here today is to explode the myths about being a vampire, that we are horrible creatures, we go around killing people. This is not true. Mm-hmm. Do I have any supernatural talents? Depends what you mean by supernatural, but yes, of course I do. I can do things that you cannot do. But I don't. But you see, the thing is, DC, I do not show off. What is the point? I am trying to live a normal life here in Malaysia among normal people. Mm-hmm. What is the point of me turning into a bat? You think this is clever? It is different, I know, but what is the point?
Okay.
Do you have another question, TC?
Yeah, okay. And you were talking about you don't have a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. So maybe among your what you call your vampire, you know, community, you know.
Yeah.
You can have a girlfriend, you know.
But these things are not important to us. We don't the so-called social interaction that people have, this need to be with other people of the opposite sex is not important to us. It is important for us as much as anybody to be with people who understand us. Mm-hmm. Whether they are people of the opposite sex, it does not matter.
Okay. And one more question, Peter.
Yeah.
Are there many people like you?
What is many? More than one? Less than a million?
Okay, let's say in Malaysia, how many of you are here?
In Malaysia?
Yeah.
I do not know, but in Kuala Lumpur, among the people that I know, there are certainly at least 20.
About 20?
At least 20 that I know.
I see. And all of you are from Romania?
No, of course not.
No,
we come from very different places. But
okay, another question. Do you get sick or not?
Do I get sick?
Yeah. You're drinking animals' blood and all that. So I'm sure some animals may have contaminated blood and whatever, you know.
Well, no.
Disease, you know.
The thing about vampires is we can sense good blood and bad blood very quickly, and we do not take bad blood. It is like drinking milk. If you open a carton of milk and you see the milk, it smells funny, you do not drink it. With blood, it is the same.
I see.
Okay, thank you, TC. We have to break for the news now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right, you're listening to Radio 4's Midnight Magic. We're going on until 3 o'clock this morning, and we have a special guest in the studio, Peter, the vampire. And after the news, if you like to talk to Peter, you may call us on 282-5491 or 282-4746. We'll be taking calls after the news. Time now, 2 minutes past 2. You're on Midnight Magic with Patrick Teo and our special guest, Peter, the vampire. If you have a question for Peter, if you'd like to talk to Peter about vampires, give us a call, 282-5491 or 282-4746. Good morning, you're on Radio 4.
Good morning. I'd like to talk to Peter, please.
Yes, Peter's here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My name is Richard Ho from Penang.
Hello, Richard.
I find that there is some inconsistency in what you mentioned over the air. I feel that you seem to claim that you are very ordinary, and you claim also to be a vampire.
So?
I think that is exactly the point that I'm trying to make. Thank you, Richard, for putting it so concisely.
No, I feel from the definition of the word vampire, you are not a vampire.
No, but you see, that is the whole point. What is the definition of the word vampire?
Okay, Richard, what is your definition of the word vampire?
If we go and look up in a dictionary or consult look at the normal concept of vampire, we associate vampire to be one of those we view in the movie, like Peter Cushing or
Christopher Lee,
one of those. And I think that is an accurate definition of a vampire. I mean, like it or not, that is how we associate vampire to be. So if you are not one of those, you don't do that, you don't have that characteristic, then you are not a vampire. You are just an ordinary human being with a very unusual and a very exceptional taste. Just like I am an ordinary human being who has a crave for guava, for example. Apart from that,
you're saying that nobody can be a vampire unless he's got fangs and dresses in a black cloak and kills young virgin girls for their blood. Is that what you're saying?
More or less, because that is the concept of a vampire.
Yeah, this is exactly the problem that we vampires today face, because we have this completely blind, preconceived idea about what we are, and it is a preconceived idea based upon the films, the crappy, rubbishy films that are put on your screen for you to swallow, and you believe it, and therefore from there on in you think that every vampire is like Peter Cushing. This is nonsense, and that is why I'm here today. You have summed up why I am here today.
What I feel is that if you don't fall into this category, which we all associate with, then you are not a vampire. Okay, you are something else. You are an ordinary human being with a special taste.
Can I tell you something then, Richard?
Yeah.
Richard, there is no such thing as a vampire. According to your definition, that is the only kind of vampire like that you will see is in a film, in a movie.
I agree.
Right. That these people do not exist.
I agree.
But I exist.
But not according to the definition. So you ask to us, not to me rather.
You're asking me.
Somebody with a taste for blood. That's all.
You're asking me if I am actually a fictitious definition. The answer is no. I'm a real person. I'm a real vampire. If you choose to decide that what you see on the film is a real thing, then I feel sorry for you. But the point is that I'm a real person, I'm a real vampire, but I'm not like what you see on movies, because that is unrealistic. That is fantastical, and it is just not true.
You see, you keep repeating you are a vampire. At the same time, you say you are also a very ordinary human being.
No.
It is very inconsistent.
Wait, Richard, that's not what Peter said. He says he's a vampire, but he says he is also an ordinary-looking being. I mean, if you look at him, you would not think he's a vampire. But that doesn't make him not a vampire. He doesn't have to go around changing into bats or dressing in Christopher Lee's costumes to be able to say to people that he's a vampire. Right?
Is a bat a vampire?
You haven't told us really what your definition of a vampire is. You've just told us that you think of vampires as Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. That's not a definition of a vampire.
Then what is the definition of vampire? That is how I have come to and have grown to associate a vampire.
Oh, I see. So what you're trying to say is that because you've grown accustomed to this definition, that is the definition. Only in your opinion, my friend, I'm not like that. Because no real vampires are like that.
Okay, tell me, what is the definition of a vampire then? I mean, in just one sentence.
My definition of a vampire is a being that in order to survive, must take in a certain amount of blood.
Is that all?
Yeah, that is all actually.
So a mosquito is a vampire then?
In a sense, yes, absolutely. But it's not a vampire bat. and vampire bats are different creatures. Vampires are people who rely on blood, a regular intake of natural blood.
Yeah, but you are not a mosquito. You are a human being.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
All vampires are human beings. There are certain characteristics of the mosquito that are similar to a vampire.
I can't help saying this, but I think we have spent a lot of airtime talking about what your characteristic, but the main characteristic that seems to come out is that you seem to like blood. Apart from that, there is nothing exceptional.
Well, the fact that I don't particularly like sunlight is quite important, but it doesn't affect my life in a major way.
Yeah.
There are other things like I do not eat garlic, for example, in any of the food that I take.
Oh, I think that kind of differences do exist, in people. It's just different tastes or different things.
Yeah, but I have somewhat violent reaction to certain things like garlic.
Yeah, this could be, biological differences in people's reaction to...
Yeah, I agree. That is very possible. Yeah. But you see, the problem is, I think, Richard, is that you think that a vampire has to be this creature of the night that has big fangs and that goes around sucking people's blood. I don't do that, but I am still a vampire. I need the blood. That is it.
I think my accurate definition, a concise definition, is not so important as what is coming out from your discussion, your explanation of what a vampire is. It doesn't look like it is, something that is unusual, and I find that to spend so much airtime to talk about.
Yes. Okay. Well, I would like to say thank you. I'm very gratified by your response, because what I'm trying to say is that I'm really not that abnormal, and if you think that I just have strange tendencies, you're right. So thank you very much. I really appreciate what you're saying.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's one person who does not believe that Peter here is a vampire, and he's got some really strange reasons for not believing it, because he says vampires should have all these abilities, like fly through the air and dress in black cloaks and have greasy hair. And
I think the point here is that he has spent so much of his life being conditioned into thinking that the only kind of vampires that exist are the ones that are in the films, are on television, and are in the movies. And that is just simply unrealistic. That is all I'm saying. I mean, I cannot believe that a sensible, intelligent individual will come to me and say the only definition of something is what can be seen in a movie. That is just ridiculous. You might as well say that...
Even I'm sure if we read books on vampires, I don't think there would be anywhere where it says that vampires can fly through the air or change into bats and things.
Of course not.
Historically we know that, for example, Vlad the Impaler was supposed to be the original... or the character on which Bram Stoker based his character Dracula. Vlad was not someone who could change into a bat or...
Absolutely.
Yeah. He just liked blood, and he had to have blood too.
But he was not very nice. He killed quite a lot of people. He was not a very sociable animal.
Okay, if you'd like to talk to Peter, 282-5491 or 282-4746, those are the numbers to call. Good morning, you're on Radio 4.
Hello.
Yeah.
Is this Steve?
Yep. No, this is Patrick. Hello?
Yeah, I'd like to speak to Patrick now.
Yeah, this is Patrick here.
Oh, Patrick.
Yeah.
I want to speak to Mr. Peter.
Yeah, he's right here. Go ahead.
Oh, right. Mr. Peter.
What's your name?
Vignan.
Sorry?
Vignan.
Malignant?
Vignan. V-I-G-N-A-N.
Vignan, okay.
Yeah. I'd like to know, I understood most of the thing, but I want to clarify this now. Since you said you don't fall in love or anything, then how did you exist?
How did he exist?
Yeah.
He told you this. Well, anyway, Peter.
Well, you don't need to fall in love in order to procreate. My mother and my father were not necessarily in love, and I will not necessarily be in love with the person that I procreate with. It is just a function of being a vampire. You have to continue the bloodline.
Oh, I see. So how about, so are you associated with the vampire bat, is it?
Well, as I was saying to Richard, was it, that there are many types of vampires and many connotations of being a vampire. Am I a vampire bat? Not often. Occasionally, yes, but not often. I do not go into meetings as a bat. I think,
But you don't have the same characteristics as a vampire bat, is it?
The same characteristics. The only characteristics between a vampire bat and myself is that we both require regular blood.
Okay, thank you, Regan.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Okay, we still got lots of calls coming through, so if you're trying to get us, it's 282-5491, 282-4746 if you want to speak to Peter. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Who's this?
Noah.
Sorry?
Noah.
Noor. Yeah. Can you please turn off your radio first, Noor?
Okay, that can be done. Okay.
All right.
Hello?
What do you have to say to Peter?
Hello, Noor.
Yeah, he's there. Go ahead.
Hello, Noor.
I hear you very clearly, Peter.
You can hear me?
Now I can.
Okay.
I can.
Hello, Noor.
Hello. How are you?
I am okay, thank you.
As you have said on the radio just now, it seems you should be, and you are a very normal person.
Well,
you are an, what do you call that, relation officer, and you look on your 20s, you know.
Yeah, he looks like he's in his late 20s.
That is the way I appear. But you must understand that it is very important for me to appear to be as normal as possible.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, yeah, no, do you have another question?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I don't believe on this, what do you call this?
What?
I don't believe on all this, what do you call this? The vampire which is in the coffin.
No, well, thank you, Noor, because neither do I.
Do you have anything to say about that?
About what?
About these vampires which is in the coffin.
No, you see, this is just the films. Again, I am constantly being bombarded with everybody's idea that the only vampires that exist are the vampires in the films. It is unrealistic. It is not real. It is not. Peter Cushing is not a real vampire. He is an actor, and he is trying to make things more interesting for people to watch the films. I am not like that. I do not wear a black cloak. I do not have huge fangs. I have small fangs, but I do not have huge fangs. If I smiled at you, you would not run away.
I see. Do you have any problem by, communicating with people when the people do know that you are a vampire or something like that?
Undoubtedly, people view me differently when they know that I am a vampire, yes.
They do act abnormal when they know that you are a vampire?
They don't always act normal. No, it is very different, I mean, if I was sitting in front of you having a cup of tea, and I told you I was a vampire, what would you do?
I see. What I would do?
What would you do?
I would be surprised and I would be scared,
Exactly. So I do not want to tell people that I am a vampire because I do not want to scare people. I want to exist and I want to be as normal as possible. And I want to get people to like me just like everybody else.
Now, Peter, I'd like to ask you a question. How do you feel by being a vampire and at the same time you are a normal person like us?
But you see, how do I feel? I feel very good.
What do you mean by that?
I feel fine. I do not have a problem as long as people do not turn around and say to me, "Oh, why do you not wear a black cloak? Why do you not bite me? Why do you not have blood dripping from your lips? Why do you not Oh, I think your money has run out.
I think we lost Noah there. It's 18 minutes past 2 now, and a lot of you have called to say, why is Peter normal? Why is he not like the movie Vampire? I think he's told you that. We've gone over that time and time again. As Peter mentioned just a couple of moments ago, he would find it very difficult to exist in a modern society like Malaysia if he was to walk around in a black cloak with blood dripping from his lips, right? So that's the whole point he's been trying to make. He is a vampire, but in the context of a modern society, he has to be as normal as you or I. Otherwise,
Otherwise, I couldn't do my job.
Exactly. So, if you would like to speak to Peter the Vampire, 282-5491 or 282-4746. Good morning, you're on Radio 4.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, who's this?
Sally here.
Sally, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from KL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mr. Patrick?
Yes, it is.
I say, can I speak to Mr. Peter?
Yeah, he's right here. Go ahead.
Right. I'm so much intrigued, by what has been said. I'd just like to ask Mr. Peter, is there a better name for the word vampire for your clan of people?
It's a very, very good question indeed. At the moment, unfortunately, no, there is not. I admit it's a very good point because we would like to get away from this.
Vampires haven't been very lucky, right? You've been called vampires, bloodsuckers, monsters.
There is definitely a very negative tone in the word vampire. If you say to someone, there is a vampire outside, you would not say, oh, great, let's ask him in for a cup of tea. I think that is very true. So, yeah, I'd love to hear some ideas of maybe a different word, but unfortunately, vampire does best describe what I am, but not the vampire, again, as presented in the movies. The vampire, as in the dictionary definition, someone who actually sucks on the blood of living or just dead creatures. So yes, that is, I wish we could change the term, but we can't.
Supposing if you don't drink blood, how long can you survive?
Not very long.
Not very long?
No.
I see. Would your lifespan expand until the lifespan of any human being?
Not that long.
Oh, not that long. Then what is the purpose of your existence?
Well, that's a very interesting question. What is the purpose of anybody's existence? I am here to contribute, I feel, whatever I can to society and to have a nice life. I don't have an agenda. I don't want to achieve anything great. I want to have a nice life and be nice to people.
Yeah, and that means a nice life means associating with the human race?
At the moment, I don't really have very much choice.
Uh-huh. Well, tell you what, Mr. Peter, I wish you all the best. I wish you could enjoy your life here.
Thank you. I am trying to, and I am doing a very good job.
Thank you very much, Sally.
Great.
Thank you,
Sally. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Sally is the first person who has said something positive to you, Peter. She says that she wishes you all the best, and she says, have a good life. So far, all the callers who have called want to know whether you can fly. Somebody said that he doesn't believe that you're a real vampire, but nobody has really said, Peter, we understand your predicament, and we sympathize, and we want to be your friend.
Well, that's very nice, but I have been different throughout my life. I will be different for the entire rest of my life. I have got used to it. I have a problem with it sometimes, but most of the time, I just know I'm different.
Just now, you said something that might, some listeners might misunderstand. You say that your lifespan is not as long as that of a normal human being. That wasn't what you meant. You meant that if you did not have blood, you could not survive for a very long time. Certainly not for a human being's lifetime.
No,
you couldn't survive.
Not.
But
within a matter of.
But as a vampire, you mentioned earlier, about an hour ago, that you do have slightly longer lifespan than normal human beings, don't you?
Yes, indeed.
All right. If you want to call and talk to Peter, 282-5491, 282-4746. Good morning. You're on Radio 4. Hello.
Hello.
Please turn off your radio first.
Could I speak to Peter, please?
Yes, you can. He's right here. Go ahead.
Peter?
Hello.
Hello? I'd like to ask you, I was listening to the program just now, I'd like to ask you, you said you appear to be as normal as possible. Now, otherwise, how would your appearance be?
Well, I'm a normal human being. I have the requisite number of heads. In other words, one. I have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a body. So I am a normal human being looking. So I would not appear to be any different in any other guise. I could wear a big black cloak if that would, turn you on, but that is all.
Well, that still doesn't answer my question.
Well, I would not look any normal.
You said you have to appear as normal as possible?
No, I am a normal human being in terms of my physical appearance. So, but the point is, I would not, for example, go to a bar and say I would like a pint of blood. That is what I mean by saying that is how I want to be normal.
Yeah, he has to appear normal to fit into society, although he may have a craving for blood at one particular moment. He cannot, say, excuse himself from the boardroom and say, look, I got to go and drink a pint of blood, and would you hold a meeting while I do that? Excuse himself from the boardroom and say, look, I got to go and drink a pint of blood, and would you hold a meeting while I do that? That's what he means.
Oh, I see. And can I ask you another question?
Of course.
Have you ever sucked blood from a living human being?
Have you ever sucked blood from a living human being?
Yes, I mean, still alive, and you have this crave for blood, this hunger for blood all of a sudden, and you need it, and you can't find any dead animals or any dead human beings, so you need the blood at that time. And have you sucked it from someone who's still alive?
Mm-hmm. Peter?
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have?
Yes, I have.
I see. Was it a man or a lady, or do you choose, does it have to be of any particular sex?
No, not particularly.
Do you know that what you've told me is that you've committed a murder?
No.
By sucking a person
No, that is not true. You do not have to kill people to get their blood.
But if the person is still alive and you suck the blood out,
it is actually...
you have no right to do that.
It is actually a medical fact that the average human being contains 8 pints of blood. Now, if you remove 1 pint of blood from that human being, it does not affect them in any way. In fact, people go into blood banks and donate blood, and they give a whole pint of their blood away. That does not affect them at all. They just have to sit down for about 20 minutes and have a cup of tea.
This is something that you're doing.
Sorry,
not anybody is going to stick their neck out and give their neck to you.
What was the question?
I asked him if he had sucked blood from a person who was still alive.
Yes, he says he has.
He said he had.
Yes.
But I have not killed them.
Sorry?
I have not killed these people. I do not murder people. If you remember what I said about the beginning of the program.
You didn't kill them. All right, that's fine.
I would not kill anybody. That is a myth. Vampires do not necessarily kill people.
Yes, but at that time, when you sucked the blood from the neck, the person did not voluntarily stick their neck out for you to suck the blood, right?
That is true.
So how did you do it?
Persuasion.
Sorry?
Persuasion.
You persuade them?
Yes.
And just how do you do that?
Well, to be perfectly honest, it's not...
Sorry?
Well, to be perfectly honest, it's not that difficult. People are quite amenable to the idea.
You mean people just give in like that?
Yes, some people do.
And what happens to that person after you suck his or her blood?
They become a vampire.
They become a vampire like you?
Like me, yes.
And so this is what you do? You suck people and make more people like vampires like you?
No, this is not something I do on a regular basis. This is something I have done in the past, but not I have not done this very often. Certainly not on a regular basis.
Tell me, Peter, what are you afraid of?
What am I afraid of?
Yes.
Nothing that I can think of.
Nothing? You do not have a religion?
No, we do not have a religion.
So there's nothing you're afraid of?
I think you're referring again to movies, right, where you've seen vampires being afraid of crucifixes and
No, I'd just like to know. I'm curious. I mean, we are all normal human beings. So there are things we are afraid of. So there must be something vampires are afraid of.
Well, I would not like to get hit by a bus.
Sorry?
I would not like to get hit by a bus.
You don't like to what?
I would not like to get hit by a bus, for example.
Would you die if you got hit by a bus?
Of course I would.
You would?
Well, temporarily, yes.
And one last question before I hang up.
Certainly.
May I know where you live?
Are you going to come around and make me dinner?
I don't know. Maybe I would like to be your friend.
Well,
let's just say that Peter lives and works in Kuala Lumpur. We cannot tell you. If you would like to correspond with Peter, you can by writing to Peter, care of this station.
To RTM?
Yes, you write your letter to Peter, care of Radio 4, Angkasa Puri.
Okay.
P.O. Box 11272.
Uh-huh.
Postcode 50740, Kuala Lumpur.
All right. Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah.
I have just one more question for Peter.
Yeah.
Peter?
Yes?
How many vampires, have you made out of us human beings over here in Malaysia?
Oh, not very many. Not very many at all.
And how many is that?
Well, actually one.
Only one?
Yes, only one in Malaysia.
Is it a man or a lady?
It's a lady.
It's a lady?
Yes.
Why do you sigh?
I'm so terrified after listening to this.
Listen, but there is.
He doesn't suck my blood.
That's the whole point of why Peter is here, because he wants to try and tell you that people need not be terrified of vampires. They don't go around killing people. And
I have never killed anybody in my life. I would not even kill.
Well, that's easy to say. I don't think Patrick is going to give his neck for you to suck his blood.
I don't think I would want Patrick's blood, to be honest.
Would you, Patrick?
No, I won't. But like Peter has told you before, he doesn't have to have human blood all the time.
Yeah, but if he's hungry at that particular time and there's no animals around and he happens to get hold of a human...
in a city like Kuala Lumpur, he can get fresh blood from a variety of sources without resorting to sucking a human being. Yeah,
I have to say that the blood that I got from this human being was voluntarily given. I did not... I used persuasion, but I did not force this person.
I cannot understand how a human being would voluntarily give their blood to you.
I'm very good looking.
How do you suck the blood? With your fangs?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Okay, have you got another question?
No, that's about all. Thank you very much.
All right, so if you want to write to Peter, you know where to address your letter, yeah?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, Peter... That was one lady caller who, after talking to you for so long, is still terrified of you because you're a vampire.
But there's nothing to be terrified of. This is so silly.
Mm-hmm.
Really, there is nothing to be terrified of at all.
Okay, 282-5491 or 282-4746 if you want to call and talk to our special guest, Peter the Vampire. Morning, you're on Radio 4. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
This is Radio 4?
Yeah, who's this?
I'm Raymond.
Raymond, where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from PJ.
PJ, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got a question for Peter?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Peter?
Yeah, hello?
Hello, I'm Raymond.
Hello, Raymond.
Yeah, I've got a question for you.
What? I have a question for you, actually, Raymond. What are you doing up at 2:32 in the evening?
I'm listening to your broadcasting.
But do you work?
As a student.
So you don't really work at all then?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing I don't understand is when you suck the human blood, right, that particular lady, right, which part of the neck you have taken it from, you have consumed?
Well, that's fairly obvious, isn't it? I mean, if Peter were to suck blood from the neck, he'd suck it from the jugular vein.
Yeah, so that vein there is that blood is with oxygen, full of oxygen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how can you measure that that's the main vein instead of the whole area of the neck?
You a medical student or what?
No, I'm just a normal human being.
Okay, well, what was the question again? You said, how can he measure what?
No, which part of which length, which width of the neck that you know that that's the part where the vein will flow?
Well, it's a very good question.
Yeah.
And you just
I'm
have...
curious about this thing.
No, that's okay. I have to tell you that I'm not a very good vampire. And
What do you mean you're not?
well, a lot of vampires, they have this instinct. They can get the right vein immediately, one bite, and that immediately they can tap into the right vein.
You mean you have to make several attempts?
No, if I make one attempt and I do not get the right direction, then
You give up.
I give up.
Oh,
I'm not a cutthroat vampire.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, beside the neck, may I know which other part that you can consume blood
No, that...
more effectively?
Well, to be honest, there are other parts, but the neck is the most efficient.
How about if you consume it from animals? Which part is it? From where?
Same again, the neck.
The neck. Oh, I think...
Except the rhinoceros, because it's very difficult to find the neck.
Yeah. Another question, if you want to, if you put it this way, procreate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said you can't procreate. May I know what other way can you...
No, he didn't say that he can't procreate.
I do procreate.
Yeah?
I had to procreate, otherwise there will be no other people, vampires coming after me. And we have a long and very proud tradition of being a vampire.
Yeah, but you do not have this, for instance, social life in, for instance, can I put it this way, make love?
No.
Do you have this ability where you are the same as people?
Yes, of course. But for us, to be honest, it is not particularly pleasurable because
it's just not your type,
it's not.
Type.
Yes, as you would say, it is not really our bag. It is very dangerous, actually, to make love with another vampire.
Oh, I get it. So that means the person that you have to make love is only vampire?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Cannot make love with a non-vampire because nothing would happen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye. It's 35 minutes after 2. We're talking to our special guest, Peter the Vampire. If you have a question, give us a call on 282-5491 or 282-4746. We'll take your calls right after this. Patrick here until 3 a.m. And our special guest in the studios of Radio 4 this morning is Peter the Vampire. If you want to call up and talk to him, it's 282-5491 or 282-4746. Good morning, you're on Radio 4.
Hello.
Hello.
Radio 4?
Yes.
Can I speak to Patrick, please?
Yes, this is Patrick. Yeah, this is Patrick. Go ahead.
Hello, Patrick.
Yeah.
Can I speak to Peter?
Yes, he's right here. Go ahead.
Can I speak to Peter, please?
Go ahead.
Okay, Peter.
Hello.
Yeah, my name is Onizurin. I'm from Klang.
What is your name again?
Onizurin.
Onizurin.
I'm from Klang.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Peter, I'd like to ask you some questions. Can you tell me about your kind's death?
Sorry?
Do you die of old age, or is it for sickness or ailments like that?
Well, eventually we die of old age, but it actually does take quite a lot of time. We can die, we can be killed like normal people. Well, not quite like normal people, but yes, we can die.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, do you have another question?
Yes, I do. What's your living place look like?
What's his living place look like?
You want to know what my...
Darkness, or you have blinds or you have dark curtains like that?
Yes, I do. I feel very much more comfortable in darkness, and I very rarely go out during the day unless I can help it. In the evening, I'm very, very comfortable. I open all the blinds and the curtains in the house. But during the day, yes, I try to keep things dark. I'm not very good with light, sunlight particularly.
Okay, does that answer your question?
I see.
All right.
I just have one more question for you.
Okay, make that quick.
Okay. What would it be? You said just now that you appear to be younger than you are. So, is it that if you are alone, you look old or some rather?
No, he looks like in his late 20s.
I look pretty normal at any time of the day.
You look like normal people?
Yes, I do. I would meet you in a street and you would not know that I was a vampire. I would look like a totally normal human being to you.
So you don't change your
his appearance.
You look like normal people, lah. You don't change when you are with normal people. You look like like 20 plus.
You're saying
alone, you look like something older than that.
No, that is not true.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.
I think we've covered all this, right? Peter does not change when he's alone. He doesn't grow old when he's alone and grow long fangs, you know. He doesn't do that. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
Radio 4?
Yes, it is.
Can you pass me to the channel Patrick is taking, please?
Yeah, this is Patrick here.
Hello?
Yeah.
This is Patrick.
Please turn off your radio first.
Yes, okay. I'm switching off the radio.
Okay.
Power off.
Yeah, who is this?
I'm Simon here.
Simon. Where are you calling from, Simon?
I'm calling from PJ.
PJ, okay. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can I speak to Peter, please?
Yes, I'm here.
Peter?
Hello, Simon. Good evening.
Hello, Peter. I have been hearing your conversation since the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Anyhow, since everybody has heard what you have been telling, can you just tell me about your true age then?
About
your true age?
My true age?
Yes.
It is... I really would rather not, because I do not want to, again, pander to these expectations that vampires live forever. I am a lot older than I look, let's just say that.
How old approximately? Because everybody has been knowing what you've been doing recently through this conversation.
You just want to know how old Peter really is. Well, he's just told you he looks about someone in his late 20s, but his real age is really much, much older.
Okay, how long have you been in Malaysia?
I've only been in Malaysia for about 2 years at the moment.
Again?
Hello?
Hello, 3 years.
2 years.
2 years. Yes.
So the rest of the time, where have you been? Back in Romania?
No, I was born in Romania. I spent a lot of my time in the Soviet Union, as it was then. I moved there when I was quite young. During the time of Tsar Alexander II, in fact, I moved over to Russia.
Okay, I hope you enjoy your stay in Malaysia then.
Thank you very much, Simon.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Okay, if you would like to speak to our special guest, Peter the Vampire, it's 282-5491, 282-4746. Good morning, you're on Radio 4.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, this is Airborne.
Sorry?
This is Airborne.
Airborne?
Yeah.
What kind of a name is Airborne?
This is my nickname. People call me Airborne.
What is your real name?
My name is Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Yeah.
Good morning, Cheryl. Where are you from?
I like the name Airborne. I think that is a very good name.
Okay.
You keep that name, Airborne.
Sorry?
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sungai Besi.
Okay.
So have you had your supper?
Hello?
Yeah? Have you had your supper?
You asking me or Peter?
Both of you guys.
No, we haven't.
Yeah. Can I speak to Peter, please?
Yeah, I'm here, Airborne.
Yeah, hello, Peter.
Yeah, hello. Nice to talk to you.
Is it true that vampires are immortal?
It is partly true. Sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not. Vampires can be killed, so yes, They
can be killed.
They
But
can be killed.
Can they die of natural causes?
No, they cannot.
Oh, it means they are immortal in a way.
In a way, yes.
Oh. And can those who were turned into a vampire be cured?
Cured of being a vampire?
No. I was concerned about the lady who were turned into a vampire by you.
She will be a vampire always.
Can they be cured?
No, they cannot.
No, they cannot.
No.
And you said that you are physically the same as a human being.
Yes.
Does that mean you have the tendency of being contracted by AIDS or flu or cancer or anything such?
No, we cannot contract these sorts of diseases.
Oh, I see. So you are really, really immortal in a way, yeah?
Well, no, as I say, no, we're not immortal because we can be killed.
You can be killed.
Yes, and to be honest, Bon, I'm a bit upset by.
Sorry?
I'm a bit upset by you asking if this woman can be.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, but you ask, can she be cured? You are turning being a vampire into a disease. It is not a disease. I am not a diseased person.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Have a good morning.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Yes, we have 11 minutes before 3, so this is going to be your last chance if you want to call up and speak to our special guest, Peter the Vampire. You can dial 282-5491 and 282-4746. Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Radio 4.
Yes, it is.
I'd like to talk to Peter.
Yeah, he's here. Go ahead. Please turn off your radio first, though, yeah?
All right.
Turn it off.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm on the line now, right?
Yeah, who's this?
Eddie here.
Eddie.
Hello, Eddie.
Hello, Peter.
How are
I
you?
just looked up on the dictionary.
Yes.
On New Gloria Multimedia Encyclopedia.
What?
And the thing is that, hello.
Yes, carry on.
And the definition for vampire, it's been stated as, in Slavic folklore, the vampire is an evil spirit that takes possession of a corpse and rising from his grave at night, sucks blood of sleeping person. All right, that's the definition.
Incredibly imaginative.
I mean, you need to clarify all this matter, though.
No, but I think I have clarified it. This is a dictionary definition. You expect me to be the product of a dictionary definition.
I see. Have you ever thought of publishing a autobiography or something like that?
For what reason?
Stuff?
For what reason?
For what reason?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're on the show now, right?
Yes.
And you're trying to say that vampire is supposed to be something different.
I'm not. That's the whole point. Vampires are not something
but
different.
General public perception is that vampire is such and such and such.
The people who listen to dictionary definitions and listen to what they and believe what they see on the movies, that is the kind of thing I am trying to say is not the case.
Well, can you write a book and publish it? And I guess you could have fans.
I suppose I could. I have not thought about it. I'm not here to promote vampirism. I'm just here to try to explain and to explode some of the myths that people like you have about us. We're not like what you think.
Well, I find that the only thing I can search on the computer was only 4 articles on Dracula, vampire, Vlad the Impaler, Prince of Wallachia. Are you related to him or whatsoever?
Well, apparently, I'm not entirely sure, but apparently I am related very distantly to Vlad the Impaler. But through history and through different generations, all the tendencies of this quite nasty person. He was a nasty person, but he was a nasty vampire, like you have nasty people. You have people going around killing other people. Serial killers, for example, they are nasty people, but they are just normal human beings who've just gone a little bit strange. And you have vampires that are also a little bit strange. We are just a normal group of people with the same social makeup that you normal human beings have.
Okay, Eddie, we're going to cut you off because we're running out of time and we have other callers on the phone. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Eddie.
Goodbye, Eddie.
Bye. Okay, we're going to take one more call before we wrap up our special today, the interview with the vampire, our special guest, Peter. Good morning, you're on Radio 4.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Who's this?
Speak to Patrick.
Yeah, this is Patrick.
Patrick?
Yes.
May I speak to Peter?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Peter.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? Good morning.
What is your name?
Yes.
What is your name?
My name is Leon.
Leon.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Peter, I would like to ask you, have you ever, first I want to tell you, I believe you are a vampire.
Yes.
Because anything can happen in this world.
That is very true, Leon. Very astute.
And I think you are a good guy.
Thank you. I would like very much to think that I am a good guy.
Okay, thank you, Leon. You have a good day. Bye-bye. It's 7 minutes to 3, and we'll take just one more call, okay, before we wrap up. Good morning. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, Radio 4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would like to speak to Peter.
Go ahead.
Hello?
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 Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes. Hello? Who is this?
Peter, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I would like to find out from you, do you know about anything about your past life?
My past life?
Mm-hmm.
You mean we're talking about things like reincarnation here?
Yeah.
No, vampires are not reincarnated at all. I only have my one life, and that is it, I'm afraid. Fortunately, it lasts a great deal longer than most people's, but that is all. I certainly didn't used to be a cockroach or an earthworm in a past life, and I hope
How long would that be?
It's quite a long time.
About 100 years?
Somewhat more than 100 years.
Pardon?
Somewhat more than 100 years.
Oh, more than 100 years?
Yes.
I see. But on the other hand, since you have the long life, have you ever thought of doing something, like charity or good things for the society,
I do a lot of charity work already. As I say, being the person I am, I like to do whatever I can for society and for people. I do a lot of charity work, and my philosophy on life is to be as nice to people as possible for the longest period of time. And that is my abiding philosophy, as long as I can go to bed on top of my earth at the end of every night, every evening, in the morning.
Yep.
Then I will say to myself, if I have done good that day to people, then that is all I can possibly expect. If I go to bed with good memories, that is important to me.
Okay, thank you very much for calling.
Hello.
Yeah.
I still have some question. Would it be okay?
No, you can have one more question. That's it. Make that a short one.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, on the other hand, Peter...
How many hands do you have?
Peter?
Mm.
Yeah, on the other hand, if let's say... what shall I say? If let's say, if you... I would say that, being a vampire, and I could really understand that, the people, the attitude towards you, and I think it's very much on the individual's maturities, in the sense of, it's just like a person who is having a gun, and it depends how the person uses it, you see.
I think that is a very valid point. Yes, I mean, I guess I could, if I was a very nasty person, I could be destructive, but I am not. And like a person with a gun can be destructive. But
yeah, I think if it's just like, if a person uses it in a good way, I think it brings benefit to the society.
I think you're right. And I think that you've just summed up what I'm trying to say, is that there are many people in society who are different
Yeah.
But we can still be good people, and we can still benefit society.
Okay.
Let us not be critical of people who are different.
Okay, I'm afraid we have to go. Thank you for calling. Okay?
All right.
Bye-bye. Well, for the past 2 hours or so on Midnight Magic over Radio 4, you have been talking to Peter the Vampire, our special guest on the show. I would like to say thank you very much for coming into the studio today, Peter.
You're very welcome, Patrick.
And I hope you will enjoy your stay in Malaysia, and that you will, after this program, hopefully you will make more friends, and they will help to make you feel more at home here.
Well, I hope so too. I found Malaysian people very friendly.
And if you want to write into Peter, you can do so. Write your letters to Peter the Vampire, care of Radio 4, Angkasa Puri, P.O. Box 11272, postcode 50470, Kuala Lumpur. That's Peter the Vampire, care of Radio 4, Angkasa Puri, P.O. Box 11272, postcode 50470, Kuala Lumpur. And I'm going to wrap up the show now. I hope you had a good time with us on Radio 4. Until we meet you again next week, Patrick Teo wishing you blue skies, nice things. You have a